Hi guys, welcome to my first ever YouTube video. This is exciting. So I'm gonna do a simple purple makeup look for you all today. I like to start off with the Maybelline Perfect Poreless Primer. You can buy this from Ulta, and I just put it into my hand and I put it all over my skin, and it's kind of acts as like a moisturizer, and it's really smooth and great. I then move on to a BB cream Anti-redness primer that I put all over my face just for any pimples that are flaring up and to give my face more of just a normal color, not just any red spots or anything. You can buy that from Walmart. I then use the primer dark spot correcting from Walmart, and I put it underneath the bags of my eyes and on like my pimple spots that I have and just any other spots that I have on my face that are kind of noticeable. I then like to move on to my Born This Way foundation from Ulta. It is kind of pricey, but it's a wonderful foundation. It gives you a very flawless airbrush look to your face, actually, in my opinion. So I just kind of like to take this squeeze bottle and put it all over my face. Kind of gives it a weird voyeur look. And then I like to take my blender that I bought from TjMaxx, and I like to dip it in a little bit of water so that when you're putting on foundation, you're getting more foundation on your face and not soaking it into your beauty blender. It doesn't help, and I feel like it's a waste of your beauty products. If you're spending that much, wouldn't you want to use all of it? So I just kind of blend it in, and as you can tell, this does not at all make my face look caked. It gives it a very one set color. It matches well with my neck, and it just gives a very airbrushed, wonderful look to it. And can't you tell? So I then like to move on to the Tarte Concealer. I bought this from Ulta, and you can put this into one of those little tiny beauty blenders that are used for priming, but Ulta has these Real Techniques beauty blenders and brushes, and I bought it in a set. And so I just put the concealer onto there, and I kind of rub it in, just dab it. I put it on my bags, and I put it on my pimples because it makes them a whole heck of a lot less noticeable, and it gives me more of a flawless airbrush look, and that's what I aspire to have with my face. I then move on to my eyebrows, where I use the Kabrow pomade from Ulta. I love pomade. I'll say that now. I think it's really easy to use. I personally do not like the eyebrow pencils. I've actually never used one, and I've usually used the pomade. You can also buy the e.l.f., and the e.l.f. looks really, really good. It is kind of expensive if you go with the Ulta brand, the Ulta Kabrow, but I personally really like it, and I think it gives my eyebrows a much more fuller, and it actually does not rub off. It is waterproof. I know that for a fact. I've kept my eyebrows on and filled in when I was showering, and it did not come off, and I don't know if it was just the water or my eyes, but I was really excited, so I kind of cried a little bit because I was like, yes, this is so worth it. I think the money is definitely worth it. Also, one thing to remember when doing eyebrows, your eyebrows are sisters. They are not twins. They're not going to be even all of the time. You can do as much as you can and try as hard as you can, but it's okay if it's a little uneven. My eyebrows are almost always a little uneven, and you can tell if you look closely, and it's cool. It's fine. Everything's good. And you can just use a regular angled brush for that, and I just bought a regular one and filled in my eyebrows with it, since I don't like the brush that they came with, since it kind of frays a little bit too much. I then actually go back to my Tarte Concealer, and I put it on a little tiny rounded brush, usually for that eyebrow or for eyeshadow, but I put it for my eyebrows. I like to use it to put concealer on and put the concealer underneath my eyebrows and above, so it gives it more of a smooth look, and it straightens up any lines or any mess ups that I have. And I just kind of rub it in, and there. it looks perfect. So next, I usually do AirSpun for baking, but today we're going to do I'll be using my Morphe P palette. I love the colors, they're very pigmented, and I love purples on my eyes in specific. So I'm using the white as like a base because for the purple look, that's just something I kind of start off with, and I just use a naked brush that, since I have a naked palette, I just use that brush a lot, just kind of put the base on. I love naked brushes, they're totally worth it. So then next I have my Real Techniques brushes, and I'm going to use the color right next to the white, and at the end I will actually star what colors I used in specific so that you guys can see which ones I used. Real Techniques brushes are great. I love the blending that they give. They are very, very easy to use. And this is actually not supposed to be an eyebrow brush or an eyeshadow brush, but I use it as an eyeshadow brush because it has a very good brush head for it. I just kind of blow it off so I can move on to the next color. So then I have my next color. Since I kind of like to mix colors, I have two colors in specific that I actually use, and I just kind of put it all over. You just blend it in. I mix them together and then I blend them in on my eyes, and you just kind of keep going until the color gives you a really good pretty purple color. And they don't look purple like exactly when you see it because they're kind of like a pinkish, but they're really pretty. So then I like to mix the colors again, and I use a really bright purple and kind of a darker purple so that it gives it more of a purplish look to it, since the other colors kind of look more like red when I look at them now. And I just mix them together, and I put those specifically on my eyelid, and my eyelid is the most purple like look to it. I absolutely love the bright purple. And then I'm just kind of blending it out and making sure it looks good. So it doesn't look good, and you can always fix that with just your beauty blender. Kind of blend out the dark spots and kind of line up your eyeshadow. So then next I like to use a really sparkly purple. I start with the corner of my eye, and I like to wet the brush first because it makes them a whole lot more pigmented when you put on any type of sparkly eyeshadow or a glitter. So I just put it in the corner, and I moved about halfway on my eye, and I just kind of like blend that in, and I love it. I love like a little hint of sparkles, like maybe silver sparkles or gold sparkles, because it gives the look a much more wow factor to it in my mind. So then, as you can tell, I'm just kind of going over it again, making sure that it's very sparkly. And great, it looks good, but there are still more. So I like to go to the one underneath it. You can't really tell the color actually because of the light, and the halfway mark that I didn't fill in, I like to take that sparkly but darker purple and kind of apply it to the other half of my eye, so it gives it a more darker look in the corner. Once again, I actually did not like the sparkles, and I wanted to add a little bit more, so I would just kind of went over that again, and that kind of happens when you have glitters or sparkly eyeshadow. And then I like to take my brush, but you don't always have to do this, but I like to take my brush and whatever excess makeup or I put it underneath the eyelid, or I grab more purples or more eyeshadow to put underneath, and it kind of just gives it a rounded look. And to me, that's personally one of my favorite things to do. I like a more rounded look, not like a cut crease as much. So the next step is actually your contour. I use the Revlon, I don't think it's liquid, but it's like a Revlon stick. Yes, it is a Revlon stick, and as you can see, Kim Kardashian and the Kardashians do this, and I just put it there on my cheekbone. I already have a naturally contoured cheekbone, but I like to add more to it. I don't go beyond that because I'm not much with contouring. So then I just kind of blend it in with my beauty blender, and then I realized that I actually forgot to bake. So I like to use the AirSpun like translucent powder, and I don't like to use my beauty blender for it. I like to actually get a brush and apply it underneath my contour. As you can tell, it's like white. And I apply it underneath my eyelid, and I also do it on my forehead in between like my eyebrows and in that little spot there. Normally I do this before my eyeshadow, but I somehow forgot about it, and so I just applied it then. You just kind of let it sit and bake for a little bit. I don't do it for very long actually because I get impatient, but you can just do it for a little while. Normally I do it while I'm doing my eyeshadow, so it gives it more time. So then I move on to actually putting on highlighter. You just kind of brush off the excess powder that comes from baking, and then you put on highlighter next. And highlighter is kind of just a personal choice. I have this highlighter from Kohl's. It's actually really nice, and it's called Maybelline, I'm pretty sure. I'm sorry if I mispronounce it, but I love it. It's very pretty, and it's got a very nice shimmer to it, but sometimes it's not always exactly what I want, or it's not like the brightest. So if you're looking for a brighter highlight, I like to use the liquid highlighter, and you can buy it from Walmart. It's a Maybelline product, and it's a strobing liquid illuminating highlighter. I use it because I like my highlight to be so shiny you can see it from 3 miles away. An exaggeration, but you should be able to see my highlighter from a really far distance. So then I also like to use the Scandalize mascara from Walmart. I love this mascara. It was actually suggested to me from my boyfriend's sister, and it's really good. It doesn't clump up, and it makes my it makes my eyelashes pop out a lot. Also makes my eyebrows pop out, but I don't think that's from the mascara. So as you can tell, I'm not really happy with the fact that the highlighter is not as bright, so I like to mix it with the liquid highlighter. It's very, very bright. I love it. I actually apply it with my finger most of the time, but I also use my little tiny beauty blender that I have, and I like to apply it with that too, just kind of blend it in so it's not as bright. So I put it on my cheekbones, and then I apply it to a little bit up my nose and on the corner and tip of my nose and above my lips in that little like pocket. I think there's like a name for it, but I don't know the name exactly for it. But I apply it there to make it shinier, and then I also apply it to the corner of my eyelids so that gives it a very shiny look, and also underneath my eyebrows. Oh no! My mascara has just so happened to go all over my highlighter. Sometimes that happens if you do not let your mascara dry and you mess with it. So that's okay. I just kind of take my beauty blender and I just rough it out, and it's gone, and it's all good again. And so you can see my face, and it's very, very bright and very shiny. So then I use this Master Fix setting spray. You can get this from Walmart, spray it all over my face. I like to air dry so it makes it faster and it makes it prettier. And as you can tell, I'm really shiny, really bright, and I have the best lighting in the kitchen, and my face looks great. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and actually send me videos or makeup looks that you want me to try. Thank you.